being that BroSun was a poet. And some of us are spoken word artists, and some of us are poets, and some of us are both. And I think hearing his words from his book tonight lets you know he was a poet. So I'm actually going to read a poem as a poet. Because usually I'm jumping around the stage and all kinds of other stuff. And I think he would agree that Gil Scott-Heron.
Yes, he's with him now. They're talking now. They're having a discussion now about Camus.
He's the GOAT. Greatest of all time. He released a piece in 1974 called Winter in America. And in that piece, he lays down the conditions of America as he saw it in the 1970s, early 1970s. And if you listen to that piece, go home, pull it up on YouTube. I've done it 1,000 times. If you listen to that piece, you will realize that it is still winter in America. Now, peep gang. 42 years of non-stop winter. We ain't even gonna go back to the winter that preceded the winter that he was writing about. You know what science would call that much cold and darkness all in succession? There's a name for it. They call it an ice age. Now, I don't know if Godfather Gil Scott knew that his winter was an ice age, but I wrote this poem to let him know. This is called Godfather, Your Winter Was an Ice Age, Spirit Message to Gil Scott-Heron. I was too young to remember at less than a year old, but apparently there was a beautifully brutal winter in America in 1974. My godfather told me about it through one of his poems once I became affluent with rage. And 40 years later, I regret to say, perhaps Godfather Gil, you had made a mistake. See, there is no summer that ever comes during an ice age, and the only warmth to be found is in the heart of the compassionate warriors. Those of us who chisel through the ice in search of children to dogs. So while most watch Obama continue to hope his way through office, I watch class after class after class of hopeless youth try to dodge a coffin. One young man wearing a uniform of hopelessness wrote a masterpiece of awful tales of doing the unlawful. But when he spoke life into it, I watched his spirit soften. So I told him, young man, you can make it after everything in this lifetime you've taken. And his response to the jewel was, Mr. Sentwali, what do you do when you're born into a gang and your parents run the crew? And your cousins and uncles and aunts and siblings too? What do you do? See, his pants rest barely above his thigh, and I can see the ice in his eye. He's not afraid to fly, but he's afraid he'll die if he tries, so he keeps that ice in his eye to hide the fire in his soul. And he's brilliant, wise enough to make food and water out of dirty falling snow. But these are things no one should ever know. And it's just a matter of time before he blows. Then we all suffer. Because our next Malcolm X is face down in some snow. He won't even get the chance to go to prison, let alone college and grow. There will be kids and shots fired at his funeral. It's so cold, it's so cold, it's so cold, it's so cold, and it's so cold. But Godfather Gil Scott told it was winter in America in 1974. And now Walter Scott left us a video update that corrected Godfather Gil's mistake. America is in an ice age. And our collective consciousness is in a frozen vegetable-like state. We, word-wielding warriors of compassion, co-direct, wail wildly like all we have is a wind to amplify our cries. But the wind into which we hide is bitter. It causes the body of Whitey on the moon to shiver. And when he gets uncomfortable and straps on another jacket, another Aunt Sarah buries another black kid. And now the next Tupac is face down in the snow. I guess he said it true, that is, the hate you give little infants F's everybody. It's an acronym. The life, it's an acronym. The hate you give little infants fucks everybody. And nobody's fighting because nobody knows what to save. And the few who know what to save don't know what to do. And the ones who know what to do are so afraid of losing any of their digits to the frostbite that they defend their money, their equality, their freedom, and their truth with their lie. Because Godfather Gil told me if they really knew the truth, why would they tell you? It's so cold. It's so cold, it's so cold, it's so cold, it's so old. But Godfather Gil Scott told it was winter in America in 1974, and he told us the revolution will not be televised, yet here it is on a screen pad, screen pod, screen computer, screen phone, screen TV screen, and I keep putting my face in that damn book, trying to escape these long dark days, only to be reminded each and every time of Godfather Gil's understate meant America is in an ice age, and that sucks. Because an ice age is a perpetual winter.
Yes.
And I can tell by the joy on the faces of springtime today that we all hate winter. I hate winter. Even while I'm trudging through the boots of a patriot. It's all starting to make sense now. Home is where the hatred is. But I can't save these kids with hatred, so indeed it might not be such a bad idea if I never went home again. Then again, through the voices of the unfertilized seeds planted in this unthawed tundra, I have learned it would be an awful idea if I never read a poem again. So I let my spirit flame like the end of the blunt, resting in the next Gil Scott Heron's mouth as it hangs low like his pants and his hope. But then I listen to him spit fire poetry in a classroom and he melts snow. I listen to her scream with conviction and hot breath, and all of a sudden she's not so alone and not so cold in this world. And I listen with my heart and my spirit stays whole. And I realize after the ice age will be the dawn of a new bloom from which a new humanity can grow. And the free laughter of the human's children, I say the free laughter of the human's children will be the signal that it is finally winter in America no more.